There's nothing gentrifiers hate more than being called gentrifiers. Who are tapping into their biggest fear.
Brown lesbians.
White guilt.
Hi, I'm Julissa Calderon from Netflix's Gentified, and this is Latinx Now. I think that the message I would assume people would get from Gentified and the work that's happening around it is for us to be true to who we are, for the Latino community to just stay like, to understand who we are and to like be true to who we are so that we can continue to push these stories forward, so we can continue to tell our story, so that people embrace our story and we can continue to have more. That's the only way we're gonna have more stories. That's the only way we're gonna have people embrace us. It's just by being authentically ourselves. And I think that this will be received that way because that's what Gentified is. Gentified is being yourself, honoring who we are, our ancestors, the generations before us, and the generations to come. I think it's just people saying that they have seen themselves finally. I think that there's been so many shows that have come and gone, and sometimes not with the accurate representation of what we would want as Latinx people. And I think that this has finally done it. It's like the yes, we got it, because people see themselves. And I know as a little girl, I didn't see myself in anyone in media. And I feel like this is finally it. And it feels really good to be in a part of a project that is doing that. You know what? I would always go back to Rosie Perez, because Rosie Perez was the first mujer that I saw that looked like me, that was a morenita, but that also had her accent and that was extremely authentic to who she was and didn't switch it up for anybody. I think that was the first time that I actually saw representation within any show or TV or anything and felt, oh my God, that could be my mom, that could be my tia, that could be my cousin, myself, my sister. It could be anybody. And that's probably like one of the few people I would say that I looked at, admired, and was inspired by. You know what? I think that it's super easy. I didn't feel anything different. I don't have a lot of scenes in Spanish. We're gonna change that for season 2. But when I saw it and I was reading it, I didn't feel any different than if I was at home listening to Mami hablando en español and me responding in English. That's just like our lives as Latinx people. Especially as the first generation, because this is what happens in our houses and in our barrios and neighborhoods. We translate and go inside of English and Spanish so smoothly. And so reading that fue como que, otra cosa. I didn't tell my manager that I was not going to change my accent. He had no idea. And I went into the audition with that in mind, okay? I wasn't going to change it, and it was just going to be like me being true to myself. And of course I was worried because you're like, bueno, me dijeron, you have to do this so that you can fit this part. But when I walked out of there, I felt empowered. I felt that I stood true to who I was. But more importantly, I stood up for so many people that came before me that they have been told to switch their accents up. I felt like I was taking a stand, and it was received really well because the role was rewritten for me. And I think that but in the end, when I got casted and I was able to talk to the executives and all of those things, they told me that that was the reason why they wanted me, because I was so adamant about not changing my accent, and because I went in knowing who I am and what I wanted. And they were like, well, that's fine, we'll rewrite it. So it feels good. Make the right choice, y'all. Go with your instincts. This is perfect because this is a reflection of the times that we live in. And so many times we see Latino shows and they don't talk about that. And it's because of las generaciones before. The generations before, unfortunately, in our countries, they're outdated. And this show is showing how we are now. And it's great because I think that you can sit down with your mom or con tu abuela, you can sit down with them and they watch this and they get an understanding of it, versus us thinking, okay, this is such a taboo, let's not talk about it, let's not cover it, as if we are not a part of the LGBTQ community. We are. There's so many Latinos that are that, and I think this is great. This is great for pushing the needle forward and telling our stories accurately. I think gentrification is fine. I have to be adamant and stress on the problem with gentrification. It's not a community of people are coming in to fix up the streets, to fix up the neighborhood, to increase the income that comes to the neighborhood. The problem is not that. The problem with gentrification is people coming into the neighborhoods and wanting the culture and the people that were there before to get out. That's my problem with it. If you want to come and you want to live with us and you want to experience it and embrace our culture and fix it up while you're doing all of that, that's fine. But don't think that you can come in and take us out when we built this, which is why you're coming in here. And so I've seen it again, like you said, I've seen it in New York. It happens in Washington Heights, where my family comes from. It's happening right here in Miami. And these are just the mega cities. I'm sure that it's happening in Dallas. It's happening in so many different places, and we don't hear about it. So I'm thankful that this show is doing what it's doing best, and it's talking about these stories. We're dealing with these things in real life, and it's so detrimental to our communities that we do talk about it, because we will be able to help everything, help gentrification moving forward, versus not speaking about it and just being upset and getting pushed out of the city or wherever we are in the neighborhood, and then being like, okay, well, I guess we'll have to start up and pack up and do new things in this neighborhood. No, let's talk about it, so that hopefully the people that are coming into the community, they understand what's going on.
Hey amigos, bueno, ya saben que aquí en Latinx Now les tenemos lo último que está sucediendo en el mundo del espectáculo.
Y con todo esto del encierro y la cuarentena, qué mejor que suscribirse para no perderse ninguna de las noticias más importantes.
Así es.